First of all, I want to welcome everyone. I hope that you're having a good summer. I guess the snow in Minneapolis is gone. There's no more snow in the furrows, which is a good sign. And I was asked by someone to talk a little bit about red light. Dr. Sam Byrne, some of you may have heard of him. He's an alternative doctor from Santa Fe, and he's a big advocate of red infrared laser. And somebody sent me some information from his office. And actually, I'm a good friend with Sam Burns, and I'm going to try to get him as a guest on Healthy Vision. And he can share with us all the work he's doing with red light. But everything goes back to Dr. William Bates. And you've heard of that guy. And in the early 1900s, he was a renegade ophthalmologist who developed different techniques. One of them is palming, sunning, and the giant swing. And during my training and in medical school, we made fun of Dr. Bates. We ridiculed him. And of course, I was one of them. And then I came across a book by Aldous Huxley, the philosopher and great scientific writer. He wrote a book called The Brave New World, Doors of Perception. In fact, the musical group Doors took their name from that book, The Doors of Perception. But he also wrote a book called The Art of Seeing. Huxley had horrible vision all his life. And he went from clinic to clinic and no one could help him. He had corneal swelling and a lot of other problems. And for a good part of his life, he had to read with Braille. And he discovered the work of Dr. Bates. And doing some of his therapies, Dr. Bates's therapies, he restored his vision. And one of them was palming and one of them was sunning. And the reason why I'm talking about this is that Bates talked about sunning. And he felt that the early in the morning or late at night when the sun was on the horizon, it gives a reddish glow, which is red infrared. You sit there, you close your eyes, and you turn your head back and forth, and the image of the sun goes across your retina. You do not do it with your eyes open. Do it with your eyes closed. And if you want more information on this, there's a chapter in my book, The 10 Essentials, all about sunning and palming and things like this. So there has been a lot of research articles on red infrared light. In fact, studies have shown that the red infrared light will increase mitochondrial activity, help regeneration, balance the autonomic nervous system, all those things that we all know are pretty good for your eyes. So red light is very beneficial. In preparation for this meeting, I went through some of my old radio shows. And it was a radio show from 2012 where I interviewed the late Professor Abraham Hayam from Israel, a brilliant researcher who came up with this condition called light at night. And I'd like to talk a little bit about light at night. Professor Hayam was researching why there's been an increase in obesity, diabetes, chronic diseases in our society. And he had a theory that maybe it was due to unwanted light at night. So he conducted an experiment with mice. And one group of mice, he had them in an environment where they had a normal circadian rhythm. By normal circadian rhythm, it was light during the day, dark at night. And he also introduced different pathologies to these mice, cancer cells, obesity, and things like that, just to see if any of the light conditions would affect it. And lo and behold, he found that when you don't have your circadian rhythm, when you don't have darkness at night, there was a much higher incidence of diabetes, macular degeneration, cancer, in particular breast cancer. And his research was published. It was very painstakingly done. So He took it one step further, which I thought was remarkable. He wanted to find out what wavelength or what color of light contributed to this problem. So he repeated the entire experiment, and he subjected the mice, yellow light at night, red light, blue light, green light, different individual spectrums to see what wavelength or light caused the problem. And the problem was caused by blue light. We are not meant to have any exposure to blue light at night. Why is that? Because blue light has a higher energy. We need blue light during the day. That's why God made the sky blue and the ocean blue. We need blue light during the day. But remember, when the sun sets, what happens? We turn towards the red spectrum. So at night, we need the red spectrum. And does anybody have an iPhone? I have an iPhone, but the iPhone has what they call a night shift. And a lot of computers have this now too, where the screen is blue during the day and at night it shifts more towards red. So Professor Hayem feels that one of the biggest health crises of the century is that we're being forced to use compact fluorescent lights at night. They give off a blue emission, which is harmful to the eyes. You know, the good old-fashioned red incandescent lights, that's what we need. The red incandescent lights have a lower energy. We need to relax our eyes at night. So those of you that are using computers at night, make sure that you maybe get a pair of blue blockers. Blue blockers block the blue light. I don't recommend using blue blockers during the day, although a lot of eye doctors do recommend that if you have macular degeneration, wear blue blockers all the time. I think that blue blockers should only be worn at night, especially if you're on the computer and you're doing a lot of work. And try to get the old-fashioned incandescent light bulbs. So the danger with blue light is that it has a higher energy, and it's suppressing our natural circadian rhythm, and it is linked to major health issues in our society because we're just getting too much light at night. In fact, what Professor Hayem did, he looked at a satellite map of the Earth, and the pockets of light, like in New York, LA, Las Vegas, where the cities never go dark. Those cities had the highest percentage of cancers, macular degeneration, obesity, hormonal imbalances, and things like that, because the people were getting exposed to too much light. And Professor Hayem felt that one of the best things you can do is to make sure your bedroom is totally dark. Get those blackout drapes they have in a hotel. Even the illumination of your alarm clock, the small amount of light from the alarm clock could suppress your circadian rhythm. And you may say, well, Dr. Kondrot, I wear a sleep mask. Well, it doesn't matter. The photons are hitting your skin and they're still getting absorbed into your body. So you need to sleep in a totally dark room to get the full benefit. There was also a study done in China where they took a group of people with macular degeneration, long-term study, and they made sure they got a good night's sleep in a dark room. And just that one step alone, there was a reversal of a lot of the cases of the macular degeneration. That was a published study. So you want to avoid the blue light at night. So in terms of the red laser is very, very beneficial. And studies have shown that the best benefit is if it's slightly pulsating. The pulsating laser will cause a greater increase in mitochondrial activity. Now, many of you are doing syntonic light. Syntonic light is not a laser. You put on those glasses and you look at a light bulb and you're wondering, what in the world is this doing? Well, there's photons being admitted into your eye, and those photons are being absorbed right into your bloodstream. When an eye doctor looks into your eye, he actually sees your blood. So the hemoglobin molecules are there. So those photons are being absorbed by the hemoglobin molecules that are circulating in your body. So the syntonic light therapy is very, very effective. Now, there's a misconception that laser light is more beneficial. It's stronger. Well, that is true, that the laser light is stronger. There was a Russian researcher, Dr. Tina Karu, who studied the effects of laser, which is coherent light, very strong coherent, versus non-coherent, which is light that comes from a light bulb. And she looked at the effect of those photons on the electron transport chain and other type of cellular mechanics. And listen, there's no difference. There's no difference between laser and photons that come from a light bulb. There's no difference. Part of it is how to get it absorbed into the body. So when you take a red infrared laser, it has more power and it has deeper penetration into the body. So let's say if you have a musculoskeletal, if I have a sore elbow and I put the red infrared laser, it's going to go deeper into my tissue. If I put my elbow in front of the syntonic light, it's not going to do anything. The scattered photons from a non-coherent light just go everywhere. That's one of the reasons why when you do laser treatment on your eye, you want to make sure your eyes are closed, because the energy is going through the closed eyelids into your eye. So red light can be beneficial. It's better to have a pulsating light. And there are certain wavelengths. I don't have them at my fingertip now. It seems to be a little bit more beneficial. I do like the Delta laser. And the Delta laser, you can talk to Chris about the Delta laser. That's the laser I recommend because it's a combination of red infrared light, magnetic energy, and also syntonic light. And it also has some, there's a third component, or a fourth component with the Delta laser. Now, what I did, Professor Abrams' podcast is buried somewhere, but I put it the first podcast now. So if you wanted to listen to his lecture, brilliant man. So if you go to Kondrot podcast, it's the first podcast. I interviewed him in 2012 on Healthy Vision in Arizona. So you might want to listen to him. Phenomenal researcher. He passed away a few years ago. He left us, but his work still lives on with his passion for trying to educate people on the dangers of blue light. And I hope to get Sam Byrne as a guest on Healthy Vision. So I'll keep you all posted on that. He's a brilliant optometrist who really works a lot of magic with light therapy. All right, so I'll open it up for questions. Elaine, your hand was up. You can unmute yourself. Oh, you're still muted. I think you have to unmute yourself, or maybe I got to do something here.
These are blue blockers. I got them for 3 pairs or $5 each. Pass.
Okay, you look sharp. Yeah, they're shooter glasses. You know, hunters and marksmen use the blue blockers. They're great. They're inexpensive. Elaine, you unmuted?
Yes. Is it okay?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay. Is it okay on a clock radio that has a red light to leave that on during the night?
Oh, well, any light at night when you're sleeping can affect your circadian rhythm. So certainly red is better than blue. It has lower energy. But ideally, you should not be exposed to any light at all. So the red light is much better than blue because it has a much lower energy. I don't know if any of you ever did dark room work. Any old time photographers that did your own dark room. In a dark room, they have red light. And you can process photographic film with red light. I used to work in a dark room with red light, and it doesn't cause any photo activity with the paper. But if it's exposed to blue light, it'll change it rapidly. So certainly red light on your alarm clock is better than blue, but I would recommend no light in your room at all.
Thank you.
All right, Sue has your hand up. Sue, how are you? You have to unmute yourself. I can't hear you. You have to unmute. You unmuted, Sue?
Yep, now I am.
Okay, great.
Okay. Yeah, notice I'm brave enough that I'm actually on camera today. When we talked earlier this week.
Yeah, you were shy. I wonder
Right,
if it's the homeopathic remedy because
maybe.
you're also you can tell everybody you're also speaking out more instead of
Right.
being more timid. So I
Exactly.
hope you don't yell at me. I don't want you to
No, I'm not yelling at you.
find power in yelling at me.
I've had a Delta laser for a number of years now, and I was using it on a regular basis a few years back, and I haven't been using it much at all recently. And my question basically is, when I'm using it, in the past, I would do my eye program and my syntonic light and so on, and then just a short time later do the laser. Should there be a certain amount of time between the eye program and the Delta laser, or can you do one after the other without any?
I would wait. I would wait. You know, you want to have a recovery.
Okay.
Too much energy going into your eye may have a negative effect.
Okay. Yeah, that was one thing I was going to ask you the other day and I forgot about it. So
Mhm.
yeah, that I will
Yeah.
remember that whenever I'm using it then. Thank you.
But to be honest with you, I like the syntonic light therapy the best.
Yeah, I
You know,
like it.
people think, oh, how can that be so beneficial? All I'm doing is putting on these silly glasses and looking at a light bulb. But your eyes are open and
Mhm.
those photons are going right into your retina and your blood system. So it's really amazing.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Miss Betty Parker, you're there?
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you.
Okay. Hey, I think you just answered my question. Can you use the red laser in addition to syntonic light? So maybe do red light one day, syntonic maybe the next day. Is that?
Yeah, you want to listen to your body. You don't want to overwhelm.
Yeah.
And it's also interesting with the frequency. With the Delta laser, we recommend that it's between 3 and 5 hertz.
Okay.
So the frequency is every second, three pulses.
Okay.
The higher the frequency, the higher the pulsation, the more superficial the treatment. So like say you're doing a facial treatment, then you want to keep it at 100 hertz, a real fast frequency, 100 times per second. So the faster the frequency, the more superficial the treatment, the slower, the deeper.
I
So
see.
when you do the eye, you're doing about 3 to 5 hertz, 3 to 5 times a second. And that's penetrating, you know, a couple centimeters. So the energy is going into the eye, not on your eyelid. So if you did the Delta laser, any laser with a frequency of about 1,000 or 100, it's just going to go superficial. It's not going to go into your eye.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks.
Lydia, your hands up.
Yeah, yes, good afternoon. Yes, I came a few minutes late and I'm not sure you talked about lasers and light. Was that only for macular degeneration or is it also for glaucoma? I wasn't sure
No, it's
exactly.
also, I didn't mention, but it's also for glaucoma. And it's interesting, if you would ask your eye doctor, doctor, could light therapy help my glaucoma? What do you think your ophthalmologist is going to say to you?
He's going to say no.
He's going to think you're crazy.
Yeah.
But in 1948, in the American Journal of Ophthalmology, which is a peer-reviewed journal, highly reputable journal, there were 2 articles that clearly demonstrated light therapy can help patients with glaucoma lower the pressure. 2 articles that were published.
Now, I have this one light bulb that you gave me about 2 or maybe 2.5 years ago. I don't know if I should still use it, but a laser, I don't have.
I don't think it's necessary to get the laser.
Oh, okay.
Some of my patients have bought the Delta laser, which is a nice device, not only for the eyes, but also treating musculoskeletal problems and,
Mm,
your skin, dermatological issues. It's a
okay.
wonderful device, but, it's fairly expensive and it's really
Oh,
not necessary. I would rather see you consistently do the syntonic light therapy.
okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Anthony, I see your hand up. How are you?
Oh, good, doctor. I have some questions regarding some recommendations you gave Chris for me, if you don't mind. Um,
No, not at all.
you said here 2 new therapy colors. Does that mean I do not? First question I have there, does that mean I do not use the original light bulb? And if so, how do I use these other 2 in terms of minutes?
Most people will have one therapy color, but sometimes we use two if we want to push the autonomic nervous system in a certain direction. And I believe that your first color is alpha delta, if I'm not mistaken.
It was, yeah, it was a
Am I
white.
right?
It was a white.
But
It's a white bulb. That's all I know. The first
no,
one.
no. Well, everybody uses a white light bulb.
Okay.
The glasses that you wear, I think the first one is alpha delta, which is a more reddish tint.
Okay.
So we're putting more energy into the body.
Okay.
And then we give you a lemon. So you use the alpha delta, which is red, for 5 minutes, and then you use the lemon for 10. So we're pushing the system, energy into the system, then we're balancing it.
Okay.
Sometimes we use an intense blue and then use another shade of blue.
So I
So
don't
there's
need the
all
original.
different.
I don't need the original.
No, you can use any low watt light bulb. Ideally,
Okay.
just an incandescent light bulb, a low wattage. By low wattage, I'm talking about 25 watts or less.
Okay. So the red 5 minutes, the lemon 10 minutes.
Yeah, I
Now,
think you do. Look on your glasses. I think one is called alpha delta,
mhm.
and the other is mu delta.
Oh, so we're talking about 2 glasses versus 2 bulbs.
Right, 2 eyeglasses. And some patients, I give them 3 pair of glasses, even 4.
Oh, okay. So I don't need. I keep the original bulb, but I don't
Right,
use the original glasses.
right. Well,
Okay.
I'm not sure if I added a color or I changed your colors completely. I'm
Okay.
not sure.
I'll
But I
confirm with
know that,
Chris.
yeah, you have 2 colors. One is
Mhm.
for 5 minutes. Then you change the glasses and use the other one for 10,
The lemon for 10. Okay.
the
Uh,
lemon for 10.
now there was some discrepancy here. When you and I talked, you said you wanted to change the frequencies on my eye, but Chris said no.
I think we wanted to try the light therapy first,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
and then
Okay.
just try that.
Okay.
And then we might want to change the frequencies on your microcurrent machine.
Okay. Then the other question was the the Ocuflowin and the Ocumed. Those are 3 times a day each. Am I to take those indefinitely or until a healing occurs?
I think you should probably take them until a healing occurs, but the Ocufolid is a great product. I've been taking it myself. I don't have an eye
Okay.
problem.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what, it is definitely has some anti-inflammatory effect because I had a lot of urinary frequency. At my age, my prostate's getting a
Mhm.
little large. And since I start taking the Ocufolin, I have no more urinary problems.
Okay.
It
Now
has to be helping the inflammation of my prostate.
I did make an appointment with Dr. Martinelli, but I couldn't get into the end of August.
Yeah, well, he's a good guy. And have him give me a call. He has my cell number. We talk maybe once or twice a week. He's a brilliant optometrist, and he's fairly open-minded.
Now that leads to the very last question. Uh, am I? What is our relationship now that the 3 months is up? Do I? Chris didn't say anything about continuing patient, or I'm not sure how that works with Dr. Martinelli and continuing patient and the whole bit.
Well, Dr. Martinelli, you'd have to, work out a financial
No,
arrangement
I
with
understand
him.
that. But I mean, our
But
relationship.
our relationship, well, we do have an option called the continued care, which I
Mhm.
think is a pretty good deal. You sign up for another year. I
Mhm.
mean, even if you don't sign up, you're welcome to join these meetings
Right.
all the time. And you're also welcome. I'll review your eye records at any time at no charge.
Okay.
But if you wanted more detailed, like changes in your homeopathic remedy, changes with your frequency on your microcurrent machine, or
Okay.
more detailed work, I have found that most patients, all they need is 3 months.
Okay.
And we're trying to keep the cost of the program down. So before it was a year program, and I found
Mhm.
that, 3/4 of the patients, I didn't hear from them after 3 months. They didn't have any
Okay.
reason. So I said, let's keep the cost down, make it a 3-month program. And those people that need extra help, will sign up for the continued care.
So I guess the answer to continuing care or not is if this second if the second homeopathic remedy doesn't work, then I should probably be a continuing patient.
Right.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. Oh, somebody had a question here. Let me see in the chat. Let me pull the chat up. The dosage of the ocufolin. The recommended doses is 3 capsules a day, divided capsules. Some people can't take the evening capsule. So I know a lot of patients take 2 capsules in the morning and 1 at lunch. So if you find that if you're taking the ocufolin late in the evening and you're having trouble sleeping, don't take it. But the recommended doses is 3 capsules a day, at a divided dose. And those of you that came in late, if you missed my talk, I'll be sending you the recording all about red light, Dr. Bates, and also go to Kondrot podcast. I put Dr. Hayam's interview there. That's the top podcast. So I think you'll find it really interesting, his discussion on the problems with blue light at night. That's something we should be avoid of. And also, this is interesting, dirty electricity. Dirty electricity is bombarding us at night. We're being surrounded by a sea of electromagnetic waves, and light is an electromagnetic wave. So, we're talking about eliminating blue light at night. But if you're in your bedroom and the Wi-Fi and your cell phone are on the computer, you're getting dirty electricity. So, if you do have trouble sleeping at night, that could be a culprit, avoiding the dirty electricity. It was interesting when I was doing research with Ning Wu, I had an oscilloscope hooked up to my body. And Ning was running different microcurrent frequencies into me. I was holding the gloves and he was measuring them on my body. And then he disconnected all the gloves and the microcurrent machine, and there was still a pulse on the oscilloscope. And I said to Ning, oh, that must be my heart rate. And he said, no, you're picking up the electromagnetic radiation in the room. Every time electricity flows through a wire, an electromagnetic field is formed. So that's something we have to be more aware of, especially something called a smart meter. The smart meter now is being put into a lot of homes, and it has a constant source of dirty electricity that's generated. And I've had several patients who developed macular pucker and other problems with their eye, and it was related to the installation of a smart meter, which is like right next to their bedroom, maybe the wall where their head is sleeping at night. So that is a big problem. If we no longer have the meter man coming reading the meter, it's sending an electromagnetic signal. So if you could see all the dirty electricity, it would be like we're walking around in a soup of contaminant magnetic rays. And that's why more and more people are becoming more sensitive. And I think it's a contributing factor to eye diseases, unwanted. I had another interview. There was, I think it was Milhouse that wrote a book called Dirty Electricity. I interviewed him, and I'm gonna have to bump that up. It was years ago I interviewed him. I'll have to bump that up on my podcast. I got to take some of these old radio shows that I did 20 years ago and make them more current on my podcast. So sign up for my podcast. You can go to Kondrot Podcast and you'll be notified every time I have a new show. Yeah, Elaine.
I have two questions I'm having problems with here. The microcurrent, I tried on my hands the other day or a week ago, and my hands swelled up so much that I couldn't pull my drapes closed, and they were real smooth, but should I still continue? I waited a couple of days and tried it again.
Okay, let me ask you, what program did you use on your hands?
3.
Is that the detox?
Oh, it's stress.
Okay, and were you properly hydrated?
I've been watching 8 glasses of water a day.
Because I'll tell you what, if I would put the gloves on my hand, and if the gloves are dry and I'm dehydrated, they'll actually be tingling and burning in my hands. I've experimented with that. If you are dehydrated, so if your hands are dry, so I would recommend don't holding the gloves. I would get a really wet face cloth, washcloth.
That's
and
what I
wrap the
did. It
gloves
was
in that.
it was almost dripping pretty heavy, and that's the way I did it. Yes.
I'm
And
really
just-
surprised. We may have to adjust the current on your machine. Is that something that's happening consistently?
I've been concerned about using it on my head because of the problem, with my hands and my feet. I got the cramps in my legs all night long the night I started on it. So I quit using it and went to my hands. So I have another question about the light. I know I asked you last time, but when I watch the light, it's not a stare, but can I keep moving my head up and down and sideways while I'm looking at it? Because I can't keep the dots together from my left eye to my right. The left eye has a much larger, it magnifies the spot, and my right eye is normal. So, but it moves away as soon as I stop looking or start looking at it.
Yeah, you can move your head and look around. It's still getting in. Oh, but I have another thought about your reaction to the microcurrent. What are your heavy metals like?
I've been testing so many things to start with your program that I've been waiting to do that because I have to give a couple of days to each thing before I start something.
Now, also zinc deficiency. Zinc deficiency is a big problem when you do the microcurrent. That can cause a reaction.
I take 50 milligrams and sometimes more in the multiple with it. every day.
What type of zinc do you take? Because there's zinc.
It's not the one that you're not supposed to take. It's
Yeah,
a
the zinc
vegetable-
oxide is a no-no. Yeah.
A vegetable one.
You may want to go up to 100 milligrams, from 50 to 100.
Try it.
Try that. And also, I think the key may re-examine your homeopathic remedy. With all this sensitivity, there's something going on with your body, and we may have to look at changing your homeopathic remedy.
Well, that
Are you taking
I took it for 2 months. That was on the 1st, and I quit just now on the 1st. So I was going to ask you now, what am I supposed to do? Continue it? I didn't see a response, except I got lightheaded afterwards, and I had brain fog afterwards, and then in the evening it would come back, and then the next day it would do it again.
Well, we may have to touch base and look at another remedy. I would try the extra zinc, make sure you're well hydrated, and let's look at the changing of your homeopathic remedy. And you got to get the metal testing done, because I'm afraid that you may be extremely high in heavy metals, and that could be causing a problem.
Well, I'm trying to get started with your program before I have to wait another week to start that.
Yeah. Okay, Betty Parker, your
Yeah,
hands
you
up
know,
again.
I had a thought about what Sue was talking about. Like when I do my eyes, the other night I did like, because, well, I did like 5 minutes with the glove, behind my neck on one glove, and then the other on my eyes. And then I did it for about 5 minutes, and then I changed and I took both gloves and I just put it in my hand. So maybe with her, maybe she could do something similar, with her situation. Does that make sense?
That's a good suggestion. Change it.
Yeah,
So don't keep it in your hands, move it around to different parts of your body.
right.
That may be a focal point of the microcurrent getting into your body, which might be causing a problem.
Hmm.
So in other words, hold it on your hands, maybe put it on your feet, put it on your legs. And try that. Lydia, your hand's up. Do you have a?
Yes, you just earlier talked about the product Ocufolin. I have never heard of this. Could you maybe talk just a little bit about that?
There's an ophthalmologist who developed this product, and it's considered a medical food. You do need a doctor's prescription for it.
Oh,
And it's extremely, it's a medical food. It has a very high dose of the key ingredients needed for the eye. And I like the product because it comes under very strict manufacturing standards. My existing product line, I'm stopping the product line, mainly because it's hard to outsource and get good quality products. The cost is going up. I know that you were paying over $100 for, a canister of the macular degeneration. And then I was shocked. The company, they had a label contained small amounts of lead. I said, what's going on? And they said, it's required because they did an assay on the products and there is small amounts of lead. And here I am, I'm trying to get all my patients, get rid of their lead and detoxing, and now the vitamins have lead. That was the final straw. I says, what's going on? So I like the Ocufolin, and the good thing about Ocufolin, it's about half the price. It's only, I think, $49 a bottle, and
Is
it's
that
very,
for-
very strong.
Is that for everybody? Like I have glaucoma. Is it for people with
Yeah,
glaucoma?
it's for glaucoma, macular degeneration,
Yeah.
and cataracts.
While somebody else was talking, I was quickly looking online, and one of the things it says here, improved visual acuity and retinal microcirculation indices for mild diabetic retinopathy patients. I'm not
Yeah, well,
exact-
all the studies have been done with diabetics.
And that means that it is it
No,
will
you
not
can,
cause.
you don't have to have diabetes to take it. The studies, they can't do studies on every eye disease. It's not possible.
Yeah, but it will
Okay.
not cause diabetes, right? That's what.
No,
Okay,
no.
so
But it's a great product. It's one of the few products that I take every
yeah,
day.
it talks about people who have MTHRF, and I'm one of them. So
Mhm.
so is
Yeah, we'll
then in
definitely
that
give
case
Chris
it
a
would be
call.
good. In this case, it would be good for me.
I think so. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a good product.
Mhm.
Elaine, you have another
It's
question?
about your book. I just couldn't stop with your book. It was very interesting. You're so compassionate that you should write in there through the heart of an egg and an eye surgeon on there. It's just amazing. The one question I had about the homeopathic part is where it said without causing any side effects whatsoever. And I think that bothered me, that's all.
Okay, yeah, well, the side effects are rare. But compared to traditional medicine, there's absolutely no side effects. I mean,
Mhm.
you look at the label on traditional medicines, there's like pages of side effects. So the homeopathic is, I think, one of the few products that have minimal side effects.
Well, the serious side effects I did have, they just lowered the dosages and put it in water, 4 ounces of water, and took it differently. And that did help
Well,
a lot.
some people are extremely sensitive. And that's, and no matter what dose we give them, they'll have a reaction. And that's why you have to start out. And I like the LMs, which are probably one of the weakest homeopathic preparations you can take. We
Thank you.
started out low. Mary Ann, hi.
Hi, I was wondering about you said that you needed the prescription for those supplements.
Yeah,
you're
the
talking-
Ocufolin, if you're a patient of mine, you
Yes.
just call Chris. But
Okay,
let's say you're not a patient, you'd have to send in your medical records and I have to approve you. So I've approved maybe 1 or 2 people every week want to start taking the Ocufolin, but they're not a patient of mine. All you got to do is send the records in. I review the records and say, you're good for the Ocufolin. It has to be
Okay.
approved by a medical doctor. You just can't order it off the website.
so then if I call Chris and you have looked at my records like a few weeks ago,
Yeah, you should be good.
you could write the script.
Well, I don't write a prescription. You just buy it.
Where do I buy it?
You buy it through Chris.
Oh, okay.
And I
Easy.
think the company has a special. If you get three bottles, you don't have to pay for shipping and handling, which
Oh,
is a
okay.
good deal.
And back to what you were saying about the smart meter, I was definitely affected when they put that on my house, which was on a wall that was right the wall where I slept. And I had to move out of that room because the tinnitus was so terrific. I could hardly think in my head. It was really bad. And I'm wondering now that you're mentioning this, if this could have been where my problems with the glaucoma started.
Definitely, there could be a relationship.
Yes, that was very interesting that you brought that up. Thank you.
Yeah, you have to protect yourself. If you're sensitive, the electromagnetic waves, you may want to shut off your computer at night.
Oh, I have
In
that
fact,
in a completely different room.
even if it's a completely different room, the signal is probably still getting into your bedroom, even if it's in a different room.
Oh,
If you
okay.
if you put on your computer and it'll show you a list of all the possible connections. That means the
Oh.
signal is coming into your room.
Okay. Well, thank you. One more thing for me to take care of.
In that fact, I was talking to an engineer and he's going to be working on developing an app. So the app will shut off your whole electrical system at night on your
Oh,
phone. To
okay.
shut it off because actually there's current running through the wires going to your clock in your bedroom, going to your refrigerator. And, anytime electricity flows, it produces an electromagnetic wave.
Well, then what happens to your refrigerator or air conditioner?
Well, that would be something you have to decide. I mean, obviously, if you're living in Arizona, it's 120 degrees, you can't shut off your AC, but you may want to limit the electromagnetic pollution that you
Right.
have.
Right. And I do have my room is dark, but I do have a fan that I like to keep on at night.
Yeah, well, the fan is producing electromagnetic.
Uh,
And I have, I'll have to show you my electromagnetic meter.
mhm.
It's amazing. I could hold it up to a fluorescent light bulb and it'll go you actually hear the frequencies.
Yes.
And
Oh.
if I put it against an incandescent light, there's nothing. It's quiet.
Ah,
Certain cell phones, if I put it next to the cell phone,
mhm.
you know, you get the loud screeching noise from the electromagnetic energy.
Yeah,
and
we
certain
have places where we
computers
drive by on the street and it starts right away as soon as you're in that area. Those dead
Right.
screeching. Mm-hmm.
So
Okay, thank
those
you.
are unwanted. So, you know, if you have trouble sleeping at night, you're being bombarded. Imagine you trying to sleep with 20 strobe lights going on in your bedroom. You think you'd be able to sleep?
No, no.
No, but you have an invisible strobe light. Those electromagnetic currents that are ponding you
Uh-huh.
constantly.
Okay, thank you.
And you know what? There's only one place on this earth where there's absolutely no electromagnetic current. The bottom of the Grand Canyon. You're 1 mile down and cell phones don't work, nothing. I can remember my wife and I hiking at the bottom of the Grand Canyon, and I had the most peaceful night of my life.
Mm,
Absolutely no unwanted electromagnetic energy.
Hmm.
Charlotte, how are you? You have to unmute yourself. You have to hit your unmute button. I can't hear you. There's a little thing on your, you can't find it? There's a little microphone you have to there. Nope, not yet. Ask to unmute.
Okay, there it is.
Okay, you got it. Good.
I was going on the screen that I'm on and that didn't work. Sorry about that. I live in a condo building. There's 24 units. And during the day, when I pull in the garage in the basement, the sound of the electricity is off the charts. And then around 6 o'clock at night, somehow it all shuts off and it's normal. So I guess I'm getting blasted with all that dirty electric. But the
Yeah, one
reason
way to find out, you know, when you turn on your computer and you search for available Wi-Fi's, when
Yeah.
you're in the city, there may be like 100 different Wi-Fi connections available.
Right.
But if you're out in the country, there's probably only one, and that's your Wi-Fi. So if you shut it off, you're getting rid of that energy, that electromagnetic energy.
I mean, the other 100 will shut that off too?
You got to make phone calls, ask your neighbors.
Oh, no, not with these people. But the reason I
No.
wanted to talk to you, I'm on my third homeopathic bottle, and I waited the 2 weeks like you told me, and I'm calling back. It's Belladonna LM. I've had absolutely nothing happening.
Okay, then we have to talk again. I have to look at a different remedy.
Yes, because my vision is now it's still getting worse.
Yeah, mine is too.
Okay, yeah, so talk to Chris and we'll schedule something.
Okay, thank you, doctor.
Okay, Miss Betty.
Hey, I just wanted to tell you real quick, there's this, for your cell phone, there's this thing called lightning wire, this white wire right here, you can connect to your iPhone, and it cuts down on that electromagnetic electricity. And I've just got it hooked up to my router, and you can buy them at Walmart for like, I don't know, $25 or so, but it's supposed to cut down on the electromagnetic electricity real.
I'd be curious to measure it.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe
I
send
don't,
me, you know what, send me the information on it and I'll hook it
Okay.
up to my phone and I'll do a measurement.
okay, I'll do that. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
and Charlotte, by the way, I mean, part of your problem with your eyes could be due to the, you know, all the unwanted electromagnetic energy in your condo. Adversely affecting your eyes. So we may use that as a starting point to look for a homeopathic remedy that, you know, will address that insult to your body. Elaine?
I'm not sure how this was said because I was told a long time ago, you can take a portable radio and put it at the lowest station where there's static and walk around by your electromagnetic fields and it'll start screeching and buzzing. It does find it. So you might try. I don't know if you ever heard
Okay,
that.
that's, I have to try that. Also, if any of you have a cat will tend to sleep in an electromagnetic negative area. They'll find a spot away from all the electromagnetic radiation. They naturally look for that restful place.
Interesting.
Any cat lovers out there? Wherever your cat sleeps, that's where you should sleep. Where does your cat sleep, Sue?
Actually, they sleep wherever they want to. But I've noticed that, on the bed, sometimes there will be, 2, 3 of them on the bed. So apparently the bed must be a good spot. And
Mhm.
now that it's, it's really hot here right now. And you can tell the warmer it gets, the longer they are. They stretch way out in order to stay cool. In the winter, they're all curled up. But yeah,
Mhm.
and another thing people can do too with smart meters, and it's what we did with ours. You can get something called a Faraday cage. And
Right.
you put it over. Now, if I understand it correctly, that's going to shield you when you're outside, say in your yard, so that you don't get bombarded with the
Mhm.
EMFs. And companies also have something, and I can't recall the name of the company offhand, but you can buy things that you can put on the back of pictures on your walls and things like that, that will also repel the EMFs
Well,
coming.
you can actually sleep in a Faraday cage.
Yeah.
It's a magnetic, like tent
Yeah.
that you sleep because
Mhm.
the Faraday can, I guess, isolate, an individual focal point.
Yeah.
But ideally, you want to, protect yourself. So we spend most of our time sleeping.
Mhm.
And so, Charlotte, that's something you may want to consider investigating in a Faraday cage. It's like a little tent, like a mosquito tent. That you'll sleep inside of it, and it blocks all the electromagnetic. How do you sleep at night, Charlotte? Do you sleep well, or? Oh, you have to unmute yourself. I can't hear you. You have to unmute.
Yeah, I sleep pretty good. I get between 5 and 7 hours.
Okay. Well, the 5 hours aren't good. I like more of the 7.
Yeah.
You need that sleep, 7 to 8, for regeneration. I don't think 5 is going to do it.
Oh.
Sue, you got a question or a comment? Oh, you got to unmute.
Unmute again. People who do have computer systems, if you do a hardwired system that doesn't have Wi-Fi, that alone helps too with cutting
Good
down,
point.
the amount of EMFs. And,
Mhm.
at night, always turn your router off. Anytime you're not using your computer, if you turn the router off, that helps as well. So there are lots of things that, people can do, and avoid even things like smart appliances. The smart refrigerators where you're at the store and you can, use your phone to check what you have in the refrigerator. All of those things are sources of EMF. So there are really a lot of things that people can do if you do a little bit of research and find out. Because our computer system has never been Wi-Fi. We've always done the hardwire for everything. And I know people think it's more convenient to just be able to, be in different rooms, moving, their laptop with them and stuff. But for your health, you're far better off to have a hardwired system if you can do it.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more of a problem. And that's one thing we have to explore. Those of you that may be losing your sight and you don't know what's causing it, that could definitely be a contributing factor. it's much easier to control the unwanted light at night. You know, the blue light, get the blackout drapes, make sure your bedroom is black and getting a good night's sleep. But your circadian rhythm is one of the most essential parts of the human physiology to help, maintain your health and a good visual system.
Is the Bluetooth a problem like the blue light?
No, the Bluetooth is dirty electricity. It's not the blue light. The Bluetooth is an electromagnetic connection between electrical appliances. And like Sue said, there's, more and more, almost all the appliances now have, you have an app with your phone that you can control things. In fact, I have a security system in my home that I can go on my cell phone and I can look and see what's going on when I'm not at home. Of course, it's not a problem because I'm not in my home, but as soon as I go home, I shut off the security system and take out my gun. My gun is my security system. Oh, here's a question here. I'm still taking the ocular detox. I have one more bottle. Taking one a day. Yeah, I would continue it. Unfortunately, I'm looking for another manufacturer of the ocular detox. But there are some companies that I'm investigating it that have, EDTA combinations. And that's the key ingredient with the ocular detox is the oral EDTA in terms of the chelation effect. And I'm going to be having a guest, Dr. Mitch Fleischer, who's a functional medical doctor who has some ideas on detoxing heavy metals without chelation. And I'm going to have him as a guest on the Healthy Vision podcast. Okay, any other questions? We're coming to a close. I guess no more questions. I want to thank everybody for joining. Oh, Trago. Oh, you're just saying goodbye. Okay. Trago, usually have about 4 or 5 questions. Next time we meet, you'll have all your questions. But anyway, I always enjoy meeting with you, and anything I can do to help, don't hesitate to contact the office. And, the meetings that we have twice a month is a good opportunity to ask questions. And, we share information with each other, which is really beneficial. We all have a mission to, get that perfect vision. So thanks, everyone. And I'll be sending you,
Thank you.
a recording. And check out the podcast, Abraham Hayim. I think you'll enjoy it.
Mhm.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.